Mic'd up.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yankees Coast to Coast. This is your host with the most, Adam and Michael. We are here, ready to talk baseball. Yankees. How about that
Long
World Series?
vacation we had.
Huh?
Long vacation we took.
Yeah, because we don't really care about anything that's going on when the Yankees are not involved. So
Well, we
just bottom line,
care, but
let's
we
call it
don't.
like we call it.
We
It's
like
true.
baseball, but let the people who really care about the teams that are playing do it. But we are going to talk about the World Series, which
We will.
was a
I thought it was the
fantastic,
best. The
fantastic
best,
World
those
Series.
games are truly amazing. I didn't really watch the 18-inning game. I watched a little of it and fell asleep because I was so bored. But I thought that. Sorry about that. Ooh, got a lot of.
I fell asleep in the 14th inning and then
I
watched
fell
the
asleep.
rest the next morning.
There it is. But that last 4 innings of the of Game 7 was the best thing I've ever seen. Was some of the best baseball I've ever seen played.
I would say it's the best World Series I've ever seen, but I can't remember what I had for breakfast, so I can't really compare it to previous World Series.
Yeah, I mean,
but it
the
had
home run was
everything.
fine. I didn't really care. The play at the plate really should go down as to think
Which
that he
one?
was
Which
literally
one?
3 inches from winning the World Series.
You talking about the one with the IKF?
Yeah, the 3 inches from winning the World Series. I mean, it's just that to me, makes me think of that Super Bowl when the Tennessee
when
Titans
the
were right at
Seahawks
the line.
decided to pass instead of handing it to Marshawn Lynch. Did you see the articles today? IKF's getting a lot of heat.
He's getting heat.
Yeah, and his response is after what happened in Game 6, they told him to stay closer to the bag.
That's it. That's
which is interesting. But what's interesting about that is, think about it. See, Game 3 was 18 innings, right? Game 6 ended on terrible base running by Barger, although the left fielder was playing, right behind shortstop.
Yeah,
and
I understand why that happened though too.
Right, and it was still a nice scoop by Rojas at second base to make the play. And then you had Jasavich, who's pitched more games in the playoffs than he did during the regular than his entire career because he's just a rookie. And he pitched ridiculously well all through the playoffs. You got Ernie Clement had 30 hits in the playoffs, a record.
Unreal.
Yamamoto throws 96 pitches and comes back the next day on Game 7 and throws another 34, 35 pitches. Rojas, who was benched and didn't see the light of day until Game 6, makes the catch at the end of Game 6, at second base on a tough hop, even though it's turf. Hits the home run to tie the game.
Yeah.
Makes the play at the plate after he almost fell down fielding the grounder. And it was just, it had everything. And then, believe it or not, it was the most watched baseball game since 2017, which it beat out our fantasy camp game because that was the record before that.
Exactly. I agree. But the thing about this, I thought, and what I thought made me happy, even though I really didn't care, for the first time in a long time, I watched baseball. I cared about the game. I didn't care who won it all. I was okay with the Dodgers. I was okay. I thought both teams had wronged the Yankees, so I didn't really care that much. But so I didn't really have a lot of.
I actually didn't like either team, but I do like Vlad. Now I like Vlad because I like the way he handled everything after the fact. But the biggest difference to me in watching the World Series and watching the Yankees all season and watching most baseball all season was these teams both made contact every game. There was not a ton of strikeouts, which led to the fact that there was great defensive plays. Pages' catch in Game 7.
Wow.
And then you had bad defensive plays as well. You just had a lot of stuff happening because guys were making contact.
Amazing. Amazing how that works.
And it made a difference. It made all the difference. And what's even funnier is the Blue Jays, who were known for great hitting with men on base and everything like that, in Game 6 and 7, I think I heard Tim Kirchin say today they were like 4 for 24 in Game 6 and 7 with men in scoring position. So
why is that? Because
they were making contact. You remember, they hit into double plays.
Yeah,
it wasn't even like they were. It wasn't even like they were striking out. And that's what made it good baseball. Is it was baseball. Listen, I know one of the teams, was it the Mets? Baseball like it ought to be. I think, wasn't that the Mets in the '80s said baseball like it ought to be was their theme. But
Yeah.
it was baseball, and lots of base runners. Look how many guys are left on base in that 18 inning game. Look how many guys are left on base in Game 7.
Yeah.
Um, you know, the question is, you know, what happens next? I mean, you have a whole bunch of people jumping up and down and screaming that the Dodgers have won 3 out of the last 6 World Series. I think they should be jumping up and down, as one of the Carroll brothers pointed out, that Will Smith wins the World Series every year, 6 in a row. I think the San Jose Sharks are hoping that Will Smith wins the Stanley Cup because they have a Will Smith on their team. But the people who talk about the Dodgers 3 out of 6, all this other stuff, but reality is the Dodgers pen stunk all season. They were good in the 18 inning game, as was the Blue Jays pen in the 18 inning game. But the Dodgers had 7 starters, and they used them in the bullpen over and over and over again. Whether it was Yamamoto or Glasnow or Snell, they all came and pitched out of the pen. And that's how they won the World Series.